Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Soul Rehab Project. This is Sarah Saxby, and this is the podcast where we talk about truth because everything in our life has been a lie. Today, I want to talk about basically what it is we need to do here to really get us out of the shit that we're in. Okay. And my content is not feel good content. We have a multi-billion-dollar industry out there that will help you feel better. You're spinning your wheels, but you might be able to feel a little bit better. And that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to hold anyone's hand. We're here to pull the rug out. And I don't get a lot of engagement on my content because I'm pulling out the foundations that people stand on, right? And I'm speaking from experience. Everyone has a foundation that they stand on, like an exit that they utilize to keep the structure of their life intact. And we are not seeing how insidious it, once you move on to something else, it's like just another trap. And that's what we're not seeing. The few comments that I do get on my content, because my content's not comfortable. So most people don't want to say, whoa, that stung. And then the people that really get it are just kind of moving on because they get it. They move on. But it does help me when people comment because then it opens up my mind to think of where else I need to go because I'm constantly thinking of the root. Always. I want to understand the root. I don't just want to talk about something on the outside. I want to talk about the root of why we're doing it because the root is where the answer lies. And one of the things that this has to do with inner work, calling ourselves chosen ones. This is what's in my head right now. This is what I think. We're not seeing where we're getting stuck. And this reality that we live in is so diabolical that we don't even realize we've walked into another trap. And I have walked into one trap after the next. So I'm speaking on it. And I want to remove the foundation, the exit that people keep taking to try to not really upset the inner work where we're not seeing it. So one thing is, and these kind of correlate, there's this whole wave of people that are calling themselves something. So, right, like the chosen ones, the starseeds, the awake. And in the same breath, saying that they've done the inner work. And here's the contradiction. The inner work, the real inner work, removes your identity altogether. That's the purpose of inner work. So if you have truly done it, why are you now calling yourself something else? Why are you calling yourself a chosen one? Why are you calling yourself something special? Because you've done the inner work. The inner work removes the need to call yourself anything. That's the purpose of it. So you may have done some inner work, but it didn't touch the thing that it needed to touch because you're still calling yourself something. It still exists. Those that have done the work, the real work, cannot find a name for themselves at all. If you're here inside this reality with an assignment, it is not comfortable. Anyone here genuinely on assignment, they're not announcing it. They're just doing it. They're not calling themselves something. They have an assignment to do, so they're just doing it. And it's usually at great personal cost. But it's not flashy. They're not getting a tattoo that says, I'm chosen. It's dark. It's not a status symbol. If you are truly chosen, however you're identifying with it, what are you doing with it? What are you doing with that status? Because it's a status. And a status only exists inside this reality. So if you are you doing anything with it? Or is it that now you just don't have to do anything because you've arrived? You've done all the work, you're chosen. Now you get to sit back and look at all the people that aren't. And maybe they can be around you. And what? The people that have done the inner work and are no longer calling themselves anything, they don't need to be anything. They're not trying to prove anything. They're not sitting here saying, I'm this, I'm that. No, they're just doing it. They're doing whatever their assignment is, whatever they said they would do when they came here. It's not an identity. And it often sucks. So if you believe that you have somehow transcended into a chosen one identity, what are you doing with it? Where are you going with it? If you're really here with an assignment, you're most likely sitting alone with the weight of what needs to be done. And there's this whole culture out there also that's like, where are my chosen ones? Chosen ones, let's get together. Anyone who has done the true inner work, they're not calling out for anybody because they don't need a group. You don't need the validation. You don't need others around you saying, yeah, you're chosen, I'm chosen. It's just another trap. This reality that we live in is full of traps, and it's diabolical because we don't even know when we're walking into the next one. It's like if you have always been a part of organized, conventional religion, and now all of a sudden you've stepped outside of that and calling yourself chosen or a starseed or awake feels more freeing. Of course it is, because it's not inside that conventional box, but you don't realize you've just stepped into another box. You're still fitting inside something, inside this reality. When the real inner work asks that you take away any sort of identity, you're not going to just fit right into another one. And you certainly aren't going to need other people. And I'm not saying just isolate yourself and don't worry about it, but when you really have an assignment to do, you realize that it's not a calling out of other people. You don't need anyone else. You're quietly sitting with this huge weight on you of what needs to be done. And you're doing it without a title. You're doing it without a way to truly explain what it is you're doing. You're doing it and maybe getting ridiculed or looked at like you're crazy, and you still know you have to do it. You still know that you have to push forward, even in the face of all adversity. But you don't need validation. I'm sure that there's inner work that people have done, for sure. But that's another trap, because this reality will make you think like you've done it all. You're like, shit, I went through so much. But then you go ahead and you say, well, I'm awake. I did all this work and I see more than you do. You just ranked yourself. There's no ranking where we come from. There's no hierarchy. There's no need to put yourself at any sort of position, any sort of title. That's what inner work does. It removes all of it until you're sitting there in this place where you're like, shit, I have a job to do, and you just do it. You don't announce it. You're not just somehow coasting into some new reality. It doesn't work like that. And then another person commented and said, great, here's another person that isn't giving any direction, that I'm just saying that something's going to happen and it's going to change everything. Things are happening in the world. But if you are looking for some sort of direction, that means you're just waiting. You're just waiting for something outside of you to change so you don't have to touch what's inside. There is not going to be any leader. There's not going to be anything outside of you that's going to save you. Nothing. But people keep saying, well, what's the next step? What do we do? Where do we go from here? It's internal. Any sort of direction is external. You don't have to wait for anything to happen on the outside. Shit is getting fucking nuts on the outside. It's getting crazy. And the crazier it gets, it's screaming louder and louder, go inside. You're not going to miraculously wake up and there's going to be a new leader and everything's going to change and we're going to be great. Are you kidding me? The system is so backwards. It's so inverted. There's no way to turn it right side out. You do that by going inside. And just when you think you've done the internal work, that's when this reality got you again. Because now you're calling yourself advanced. Now you're saying, I'm awake. If you're calling yourself that, you just fell into another trap. The inner work didn't work. It may have caused you to see a little bit more, but it just moved you into another trap. And that's what this reality does. And you calling yourself all chosen ones, let's get together. Why? That's just for validation. That's just for, hey, like, I'm chosen. You're chosen? Cool. Let's get a tattoo. There's no need for that. If you really did the work, you removed your need for that. This reality is so tricky. And it wins every single time. There's duality in this reality, and it keeps us fighting over literally everything. It's brilliant. But we have to be smarter than this reality. We have to stop falling into all the traps, the identity traps, the duality traps. We keep doing it and we think we're right. And then we're like, no, I'm awake. I see more than you do. You just put yourself in a rank, in a hierarchy. We just keep doing the same thing over and over again. And every time we try to prove ourselves and say, no, I'm this, or I'm right, or I see this, and you don't see this, the reality wins. And they love that. It's going to get crazier and crazier on the outside, but that's not for us to just wait and see what happens. I want everything to just collapse so I don't have to go inward. You're never going to have that opportunity. Things are going to get worse. When things are going to happen, they are happening. But is there going to be a line that severs this and all of a sudden we're building again? No. It's in here. This is where it happens. I understand people are like, okay, well, what are we supposed to do? Everybody keeps saying something's going to happen. It is happening. And every single day you wake up, you have an opportunity to go inward, truly inward. But it's always the thing that you refuse to touch. You don't want to go there. But that's the thing. And that's why things are getting crazy externally. Because it's getting so bad that we have no other choice but to go inward. And when you really do, you'll go, holy shit. I can't describe who I am. I just know that there's no ranking, there's no hierarchy. But you know what? Another good one is someone said, I'm a chosen one, but I don't think I'm better than anyone else. I actually love people more. More than who? Is that a rank again? So it's so tricky. It gets us every single time. It puts us right back into the system, and it's like we're just being recycled because we keep falling into the next trap, the next identity trap. The real inner work removes any need to call yourself anything. If you're here truly on an assignment, you're just doing it, and it hurts, and it's deep, and it's quiet, and you're doing it.